what I like to do is have a meeting with each of my children, just one-on-one, mom and child. And in that meeting, we discuss the previous year. We talk about what they liked and what they didn't like. We talk about what was easy and what was difficult for them. And then I invite them to share with me what are some things that they would like to learn. Whether it be a skill or a topic, what are some things that they would like that maybe we're not currently doing? When I'm having this conversation with them, I call it a meeting, but really it's a conversation. It's a very laid back conversation, very relaxed, easygoing. But while I'm having this conversation, I try to pay very close attention to what they say and how they say it. I pay attention to their body language. I focus in and I ask God to help me to see, what are the things that they say that they get very excited about? What are the things that they discuss with me that seem to bring like a cloud or a darkening to them? And in this, I'm becoming a student of my child. I'm already working at this when I'm paying attention throughout the school year, when I'm evaluating the work that they do. And that's why I usually do this type of, have this conversation or this meeting after I've done my year-end review and I've already got an idea of what I think or how I believe the year went. But that conversation with them is crucial because the input that they give you is going to really enable you to couple it with what you're already thinking and feeling and be able to make really good decisions for the upcoming year. So I wanted to give a couple examples because I know it sounds overly simple, I think. This is not about trying to figure out what your child wants in terms of, let's say, you're making dinner and they're like, I want ice cream and I want gummy bears and, chocolate chips. And you're like, dude, you need some vegetables, right? You need some meat. You need some protein and some fiber. You don't need all junk food. So I'm not saying that. What I'd like to give is a few examples to help solidify what I'm trying to say. So let's take one particular subject. Let's say math, okay? Let's say that in your conversation, you already had a feeling that something was going on with math, but in your conversation, they expressed to you that they're really, really struggling with it. So being able to ask the question, what do you not like about math? What is it specifically? Could it be the program? There's so many different programs out there that you're working with and coupling or pairing the right one for your child will make a huge difference. I'm talking about if there's things that they actually need that could be little tweaks that would make for a more enjoyable experience for them, or even a better experience for them because they really do need this. So for example, I remember as a new homeschooling mom, I was very taken by all the beautiful worksheets and all the beautiful graphics, and they made me feel happy and teachery, I guess. But there's some children that really are distracted by all of those things, and it makes it hard for them to focus. And it would be better for a math problem to have, just what they need to do on that piece of paper. So there are some math programs that will just the paper will just be like just full of math problems, like just end to end, wall to wall. And the child is overwhelmed because it's just like they just freeze. Conversely, you can have math programs that will drip out a problem at a time, and the child does one problem, and then it gives them another problem, and it gives them another problem. But the child gets exasperated because they don't ever know when they're done. And so some children would like to know, like, just give me, they may not say it like that, maybe when they're teenagers they will, but the young child may not know, I need to see, what it is that is being required of me, versus it being dripped out. There are some programs that can be babyish to our students. We have to be careful of things like this. Everybody is creating and making things, and they're trying to appease, but all of our children are unique. All of our children have different needs, and different things make them comfortable. And while the curriculums are doing their best to try to make things that we can use, it's up to us to really pay attention. So when I've had the meeting with them and I've taken notes, I take lots and lots of notes while I'm talking with them, paying attention to their body language, hearing their heart about what it is that they would like to learn. It's very relaxed. It's a very bonding experience. They may not like everything about school, but they like this because they see that I see them, and they see that I have their best interests at heart. They see that I'm taking into account the things that matter to them on a daily basis. Even something as simple as when we're reading a particular book, sometimes we can opt to allow them to, like, it's on the reading list, but they're not enjoying it and they're just trudging through it. It's okay to be like, you know what, we're just going to skip this one. We'll try the next one. I remember listening to Susan Wise Bauer one time of The Well-Trained Mind, and she said that she doesn't require her kids to finish a book if they don't like it. And she challenged us as parents, and she said, do you finish every book that you start? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so guilty of that. How many times have I bought a book or picked one off the shelf that I just knew I would love, and I get into it and it's just like, this is not what I thought it was at all. And I'm just like, no, I don't make myself finish that book. I set it aside and I go get me something new. Sometimes it's okay to allow our children the same privilege, same freedom to not finish something that really is a drudgery for them. And it could be, let's say it's about Abraham Lincoln. It could just be that book about Abraham Lincoln, and you could find a different book about Abraham Lincoln. You can still get the learning in, just in a different way. After I've had the meeting with them and I've researched some curriculums, I make some calls. A lot of times I will talk to, I usually will check with Kathy Duffy's reviews. I also like to talk with Rainbow Resource. They have consultants that will talk with you, and they are just fabulous with, they've given me so many things that I did not even know existed. So I'll link both of those places in the comments. So Kathy Duffy's review and Rainbow Resource. So after I've done all that, I will typically go to my husband and we'll talk about the things that I've found. We'll talk about, possible solutions and make a plan to get those things done. Okay, so there you have it. What you do before you start planning is have a meeting with your children so that you can figure out what all of that information to enable you to make good decisions with them also in mind and their input. I just want to give a note of encouragement and say that it may seem overwhelming. What I'm saying, it may seem overwhelming to you at first. It was for me, in terms of like intuition. Trusting myself was a big deal. I had that record playing in my head. What if I'm going to ruin my kids? What if I make a mistake? What if I waste all this money? So I get it. But what's really cool is that it gets easier every year. Every year it gets better and better and easier for you because you're becoming a student of your child. Your conversations, your meetings, they're going to become shorter and shorter because the more you get to know your children and the more you become a student of them, the more you're going to actually already know the answers before they give them. But it's still a good way for you to let them know that you're taking what they think to heart and to consideration. So sometimes you may already know, but the conversation helps them to know that you're thinking about them too. But I really just wanted to encourage specifically new homeschooling moms that don't be overwhelmed by this. It really does get easier and easier every year, and you'll become a pro at it. Just think about it. When you are paying attention to the things that they're eating, you can watch your child and know when they're eating too much and they're not eating enough. You pay attention and can tell when they're getting enough sleep and when they're not. You can watch them and tell when they need more time with mom and dad and like more one-on-one with you. So it really is in you naturally. You can do this. Don't be overwhelmed. You can do this. It's just like all those other mom things. We get overwhelmed because we worry that we're gonna taking on their education is a big deal, because all the responsibility is on us. But it's really not any different than any other area of your parenting and your motherhood. It's not any different. It's just a different task. So we've talked about the meeting. We've talked about why it's important, and how that having that conversation with our children just really gives us all that information so that we can make good decisions for the new year, and why it's important for them to hear us ask the question and to take them into consideration in a way that they can see and understand. And we've talked about how we just pay really close attention to their body language and how it's really not any different than any other thing that we do in motherhood. We're constantly evaluating and watching them. We're constantly tweaking, whether it be, laundry or recipes. And in this instance, it's their schoolwork. It's not any different. And every time we do it, we're going to get better and better and better. Just like every time we make that recipe, we get better and better and better. We get better and better as we just work at things. It's always a little bit overwhelming at first, but we just keep at it and we get surprisingly really good at things as we keep trying. And I wanted to just invite you guys to my free Simple Homeschool Plan. It's a high-level plan that I made out for the entire, it's over a 12-month period of the school year. And in it, you have an overview of every month, just a high-level overview of every month, scripture meditations for every month, and evaluations for every month, and a place for us to locate gratitude and what is going well in our homeschool, because things are going well. But it's when we focus on it and we pay attention to it and we give thanks for it, that's going to be what helps propel us forward in our school year. But if you wanted to sign up for that, I have the questions that we talked about today. They are going to be in the June evaluations. So I will link that in the comments, and if you want to sign up, you'll find the questions that we discussed today in June. If you like this video, I would love it if you would subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed what you've heard today, I invite you to subscribe to my brand new YouTube channel, where together we're learning to create a homeschool life, investing now for what we want later. Healthy relationships that will last beyond the moving of the tassel. Until next time.